AARP New Jersey Fraud Facebook Friday of 2025. I'm Christine Braccino, an AARP New Jersey volunteer and your host for today's conversation. So, you received an unexpected text or direct message from a stranger. Don't trust it. It may be the first step in a pig butchering scam, a scam so named after the practice of fattening a pig before slaughter. These scams often involve scammers contacting people seemingly at random, then gaining trust before ultimately manipulating their targets into phony investments and disappearing with the funds. These have grown dramatically in recent years, with individual investors sometimes losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. Today, we are happy to have Judith Weinstock, Assistant Regional Director of Division of Enforcement in the New York Regional Office of the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission. She joins us to share information on how we can protect ourselves and our loved ones from pig butchering, also known as relationship investment scams. The Division of Enforcement oversees the agency's civil law enforcement function by conducting investigations into possible securities law violations, filing hundreds of enforcement actions each year against wrongdoers, and returning money to harmed investors whenever possible. Judith, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Pig butchering schemes, how do these start and how are they different from other investment scams?
Again, thanks so much for having me here today. I just want to give a quick disclaimer before I dive in. These remarks are provided in my official capacity as an Assistant Regional Director in the New York Regional Office of the SEC, but do not necessarily reflect the views of the Commission, the Commissioners, or other members of the staff. So now to the substance, how do pig butchering scams start? A stranger will contact you out of the blue via text message, on social media, or on a messaging platform application and attempt to build rapport. Many times these fraudsters will text pretending to be an old friend, or they may express a romantic interest. In romance scams, they will often pledge their love very quickly. Over the course of days, weeks, or even months, the fraudster will send you messages about personal, non-investment related topics. They might try to foster trust by sending pictures, talking about activities such as volunteering to demonstrate good character, or sharing fictitious life details that mirror your own. Inevitably, the scammer will at some point steer the conversation toward investment-related topics, often asking whether you have an investment or a crypto account. Their goal is to gain your trust and confidence, and victims can lose a lot of money, sometimes their life savings. There are some very interesting and disturbing documentaries on TV about these scams. One that I recently became familiar with had several women who were interviewed about a, quote, rich man who contacted them on a dating app. He used the same script on each woman. He would text them nonstop and tell them he was madly in love with them, and he would make all sorts of promises about the future. Then he would say he was in trouble and needed money, and then he would need more money. After the women sent money multiple times, the rich man who loved them would vanish. The victims were left heartbroken and financially devastated. Please, if someone you have never met, have never seen in person, comes into your life out of the blue and very quickly starts saying they love you and they need money, hit the pause button. Talk to a family member about what is happening. These are big red flags.
So Judith, I didn't realize this, but the pig butchering scam could actually be part and parcel of a romance scam, as you described it.
That's
Building
right. It
that
could
trust.
be, it could be either or both.
Okay. So after building that rapport and that interest in that relationship, what happens next? How does the fraudster sharpen that knife and execute?
Right. So as I mentioned, once they establish that relationship, they'll convince the target to invest money. And I put invest in quotes because they don't actually invest the money. The goal is to create the perception that you'll make money by following their instructions. They may offer advice on trading or claim to know about profitable opportunities. They'll lead you to believe you're doing well by sending fake screenshots or showing fake information. They often use fake testimonials. If you're in a group chat, others in the group will claim to have made huge profits. They may use altered or AI-generated photos or videos to make it falsely look like others have profited. For example, depictions of skyrocketing account balances are often fake. Again, their goal is to gain your trust and confidence. After you express a willingness to invest, the bad actor might ask you to verify that your brokerage account can trade in the relevant security. Then they may provide additional instructions. In another example, the actor will dangle riches supposedly made through trading cryptocurrency. After gaining your trust, they'll encourage you to purchase or transfer cryptocurrency assets using a specific trading platform. They will entice you to put your money toward the quote opportunity they've shared. And as I mentioned before, then they'll point to impressive gains from initial investments and urge you to deposit increasingly larger amounts. Once you do, the switch will flip, often leaving you facing devastating losses.
Goodness. What are the warning signs so as not to fall victim to these scams? How can we protect ourselves? And you always hear, the saying, verify before trusting. And are there resources available to check these investments? Or perhaps they don't even tell you any names or specifics. It's very general.
So I'll share a couple of red flags. One is wiring money outside the United States or using crypto assets, because these can be much harder to trace. So that's a red flag. Another red flag, and I hope it doesn't get to this point, but victims also need to be aware of not being re-victimized. When they try to withdraw their funds, the fraudsters often come up with an excuse as to why that isn't possible. They'll say more money is required, or they might tell the individual for the first time that they must pay more to cover fees or taxes for withdrawal. So obviously people can't recover their investment by paying more money. So that's a huge red flag. But any unexpected text or message can be a red flag.
Okay. So like in most scams, don't trust whatever, or just ignore text, phone calls, whatever you might get that from an unknown contact.
That's right. And sometimes it's an unknown contact. Sometimes they will pose as a real investment professional. So if you look that person up, you may find a real person, but they're actually impersonating that person. So any kind of unexpected message from either someone you don't know or someone who has a verifiable background is likely not the person they're purporting to be.
So they can impersonate someone else who actually is not even involved.
That's right. And then they may refuse to participate in video chats.
So you couldn't really even verify anything to say this is the person that's, real or not,
Yes, and they can use technology to mask their voices as well.
Yes, and we've seen that with AI in terms of what the possibilities are under that. So, wow. This information is really helpful to protect our viewers and our loved ones. If someone has been a victim of these schemes, how can they report it? Or what should they do as far as next steps if they suspect or have been victimized?
Sure. And I just want to talk about a couple more red flags, and then I'll talk about how to report.
Okay.
Another red flag is a request for financial information. No one should be sharing financial information with someone they've never met in person. Unsolicited investment advice or tips, unknown or confusing investment opportunities, unfamiliar trading platforms, exaggerated claims and elevated emotions, guaranteed returns, higher than average returns, sense of urgency about upcoming news announcements or price increases. And remember that insider trading is illegal. Never trade shares of a company on the basis of non-public information. Now, if that happens, and I hope it doesn't, we have on the SEC's website, we have a form, tips, complaints, and referrals. So people can complain there.
Okay. And the SEC via phone is 1-800-732-0330. And the website is sec.gov, correct?
The website is sec.gov. That's where people can find our tip, complaint, and referral form.
Okay.
We also have another resource, which is a different website called investor.gov. And this website can be used to check the background of anyone seeking to sell you an investment.
Right.
And it also has helpful alerts and bulletins about investing.
Okay. That's a good resource. Yeah. Okay. Closing thoughts, Judith, on this subject of pig butchering, and that might be helpful for our viewers.
Don't respond to unexpected or unsolicited text messages received from unknown senders. Consider reporting and blocking these senders from your phone or messaging app. No matter how trustworthy someone might seem, don't make investment decisions based on the advice of anyone who makes unsolicited contact with you online or through an app or text message. Do your independent research and ask questions. Don't share any information relating to your personal finances or identity, including your bank or brokerage account information, tax forms, credit card, social security number, passport, driver's license, birth date, or utility bills with someone you don't know who contacts you online on a social media platform or through text message.
All great information, regardless of what the scams may be. It's all tips and information that we should follow diligently to protect ourselves. Thank you for joining us today, Judith. A lot of great information. And if you're concerned that you've been scammed, you can reach a trained volunteer at the AARP Fraud Watch Network helpline at 877-908-3360. Again, that's 877-908-3360. If you like more information and resources on fraud and scams from AARP New Jersey, please visit aarp.org/njfightsfraud. Again, that's aarp.org/njfightsfraud. If you're interested in learning more about the fun events, special offers, and the latest news from AARP, text the word YES to number 2 email to 50757 to receive a one-time text message from AARP with a link to sign up for emails and learn about what AARP has to offer. Message and data rates may apply. We hope you learned something new today about how you can stay safe from fraud and scams. Thank you and have a great day. Judith, thank you again very much.
Thank you.
Okay.